It's December 15th. That means it's officially a lot more players. Almost all of them now are eligible to be traded. So trade season is about to start. Do you have a team in mind that needs to make a move? Do you have players that need to be traded? For example, I know you want Michael Porter Jr. In a winning situation. He's playing really good. There's obviously like the John Morant,
Michael's got to get out
LaMelo,
of Brooklyn.
Trey, Zion, Carousel, everyone talks about. And like the Warriors, for example, Steph hits 12 threes, they lose. Looks like the Warriors need to make a move.
I got a couple situations, man.
Yeah.
Jaw's got to get out of Memphis. I've seen it. I've seen the experiment. I'm over it. He's done a lot of great things there. He's had playoff runs there. He's a very talented player. I'd like a fresh start for him. Somewhere that makes sense. I would like him paired with another star. I don't want Ja to be the best player. I don't mind if he's one of them, meaning like if he's one or two. I just don't want him to be so standout alone. For that, I want him to be paired with someone that he can go to battle with realistically and actually compete. That's a fresh start out of Memphis. I think the market for him down there. I would like him a whole rebrand. He is a star. I would like him to be somewhere advantageous for him. Same thing with Zion Williams. The experiment there is done. I think he needs to move on. I think they already have something exciting with Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. Move on, see what you can get for Zion. Let's see if Zion can go somewhere else and have a fresh start where someone's going to hold him a little bit more accountable, maybe on a different time clock with him. We're like, hey, man, if you don't work out or if you don't want to play games here, man, you're out. I want to see that fired up Zion come to work and a fresh start with new blood, new energy. Those are the top two for me if we're talking stars. The Giannis thing will make its way. There's going to be such a haul for him. You got to be careful. We talked about that already of where he's going to go and who can do it. I think one of the very few teams is in your backyard. I don't think they should make it. This is a team that just made it to the Cup. They're playing good basketball with Paolo. I don't think the Magic need to make any major moves. They have a very good young starting core. You got De Silva, Anthony Black in terms of the side players, and then you start with Franz and Wagner. Franz and Paolo at the head. I think that's a good team that you can build in an East that's wide open. I don't think the Magic need to make a move. I just think they are one of the teams that, if you're talking about, could get the Greek Freak and not have to give the whole team, because like Apollo can take a lot. Apollo's a fresh start, 9 years of an all-star, man. There's a lot of teams that, Milwaukee's like, yo, what can we get for the Greek Freak? Apollo's a guy that comes and resets your whole franchise, dog. You know what I mean? That's a good rebuild with just that guy. Let alone you got KPJ. You got AJ Green. You got the who's the young kid Rollins. And maybe you get Paulo and a De Silva for him and a first round pick. Now you got something rebuilding and restarting in Milwaukee. While Orlando gets to keep like a Suggs, they keep a Desmond Bane, you keep a Franz, and then you bring in the Greek Freak. Now suddenly you're contending for really for a title. That's I'll be honest. That's one of the better moves in terms of Giannis. I don't think the Magic need to make it. Let me be clear. I love Paolo Banchero in Orlando. They don't need to do shit. I'm saying that's one of the teams that could possibly pull it off if they wanted to. But the Giannis thing will take care of itself. I think Zion and Ja got to go. And then if we're talking like not star players, but guys, also Trey. I'd like Trey to get out of there too. Trey actually in Orlando, another guy. Trey could be in a lot of different spots. But those three, bro, we've been talking about Ja, Trey, and Zion being traded for like 4 years now, Pausha. It's like, 3 years. Those are the three at the top of the list I would like to see in fresh starts. It'd be good for the NBA just for circulation and new life, new exciting.
Throw LaMelo in there and just mix it up. Now that
throw a little Melo in there. By the way, yeah, they came out today like, yo, we see Khan as our guy. It's happening.
We've seen enough.
We've seen enough. He had back-to-back 30-point games again. It's over. And with everything that's gone on with LaMelo, another dude. You put those four at the list in terms of stars: LaMelo, Trey, Zion, Ja. Those guys moving to new starts in terms of fan bases being excited that you got a player like that coming in, maybe getting the best version of him and motivated him. It's very exciting. Players below that, I got to start with this guy, man. Kuminga's got to go. He got a DMP the other day.
I don't know any. Botched the Kuminga situation.
It's gone from worse to worse to worse to worse. I don't know anybody in the NBA who's getting paid $20 million. $25 million to not play. The other day, and it wasn't like he's hurt. They're not garnering an injury, that little minute restriction we talked about earlier. And that's not the case with him. He
Right.
simply did not play. Now, it's one thing to not finish a game. It's one thing to only play 15 minutes, 10 minutes for Kuminga, a guy making 20 million, 25 million. He'd be like, yo, what the man? For a guy, man, we just talked about Dylan Brooks, same price range. Dylan plays, you know what I'm saying? For Kuminga to be sitting there at the end of the bench being like, I'm not playing a minute. Meanwhile, they don't bench Podziemski. They don't bench some of these other guys. Moody and I like Podziemski. I think Podziemski is a good role player. I think he's solid. And I like him in the lineup. So no disrespect to Podziemski. Kuminga is just a star talent who just like doesn't fit the system. They just bench him. And they had to pay him. They wouldn't let him go. They pay him again. And then he's sitting here. He's just like, yeah, it clearly doesn't work.
What did you say? They've just completely mishandled the last few years with Steph, because getting Jimmy Butler, who at first it seemed like a good deal, but he's obviously a little past his prime and older. Kuminga, their young talent, paying him, so he's taking up space, but not playing him. Like, I feel like they're definitely a top team that needs to make a move, because Steph is well, he kind of 12 threes last night. Up until a few years ago, 12 threes was the NBA record in a game. Yeah. He had 12 threes in a loss.
Steph is still generational, and he only has a few years left, and I do believe it's being squandered.
Yeah,
I believe it's being mishandled. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I'm a Dunleavy guy. He's a Duke guy. It is what it is. I got a lot of respect for him. But I'm not a fan of and I'm not saying he was handed the easiest situation. He was handed the keys to a dynasty on the back end. So the moving parts in this to make these moves, even the Klay move was so emotional because of how much has gone on there, all the winning. It's a very hard situation to be in. I think the Klay situation was mishandled. Klay should still be there. I don't really care if he wasn't playing his best. He's still averaging 14 points a game. Mind you, Klay's better than every two guard they got there right now. So I don't really get it's comedy. They couldn't pay him or it's not like he got max. Like now he's just in Dallas playing like for whatever. He's like pulling up in like army fatigue fits and he's dating Megan. Now he's just like F it. I'm just gonna go down in Dallas and hoop and like whatever. He could have still rode out in the sunset with this group that he built this franchise with. It was mishandled. All right. The Jimmy thing, I don't mind that, but
we liked the Jimmy move when it happened. We definitely liked it when it happened.
I don't mind the Jimmy thing, but to your point, Pausha, you bring in Jimmy, but then you keep Kuminga, which plays the same position as Jimmy. So now you don't play Kuminga, who's a young player that had a lot of value, still probably does have a decent amount of value, who you don't play and clearly don't mesh well with, Kerr. Your coach doesn't at least. And he doesn't fit the team aspect, but you're still trying to win with Steph because that's why you brought in Jimmy. It makes no sense. It's just like they've mishandled it. Like if it's either you rebuild and then you just keep Steph and just rebuild the whole damn team, or Dre included. But since you're going to keep Dre and you're going to keep Steph and you're going to bring in Jimmy, why did you get rid of Klay? Why don't you get rid of Kuminga and like go get? You're not rebuilding with Kuminga. You made it clear he don't want to be there anymore either. So why not use him? Let's try to get. They didn't make a move.
Don't you agree? It's probably super hard to have a player like Steph be good for this long, while the players around him might be getting older or worse. You have to swap them out and retool around these guys for a long period of time. It is probably really hard to constantly make the right move, right? Like even OKC makes mistakes. Like it's hard to make the right move for this long. I mean, they got that title in 22. That title meant a lot, right? Like you said, that title stamped Steph, stamped the Warriors, post KD title, like that one meant a lot.
Yeah, well,
it's really hard to keep doing it over and over again, right? Making the right moves, signing the right free agents, this and that.
Yeah. I mean, Steph's been stamped, but yeah, that championship puts Steph, like you kind of are trying to mean, like it puts Steph in that category where you now put him as like one of the all-timers. Like he was already the greatest shooter of all time. He's already a lot of the greatest. But like when he won that one and just the years since his play, the level he still plays at, people now look at Steph as like a top 4, top 5 player of all time. You know what I mean? And that championship really, really put the stamp on it. It is tough because you look at Dre, you look at Klay, they're like a fraction of what they were. Meanwhile, Steph's like hitting 12 threes in a game. It's just like, all right, well, it's hard to keep them all and like try to continue to piece it around him. And then at one point they had Poole and Kuminga. They're like, yo, this is the restart. But then this guy's still playing really good and wants to win now. So it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to put those two different timelines. And by the way, they're two different offenses because the way Kuminga plays is completely different than what's works for Steph. So it's tough. I do think, regardless of which, and again, we've been playing both sides of the fence or coin, however you want to phrase it, a lot today. We've been 50-50, and I've been very vanilla in most of these regards. It's a tough spot for Dunleavy to be in. It's not easy. So I can give my opinion. It has been mishandled. It has been.
Yeah.
I'm not saying myself or anybody else would have done any better because that spot is a very tricky one to be in. Okay, a lot of emotions, a lot of legacy there. You just don't come in and start trading and moving. It's tough. You know, the Klay thing didn't end well, and that was the start of it. And it hasn't really gone well since. The pieces that they have there don't make sense. They're not good enough. I'm sorry. Even fully healthy, they're good. They're not good enough to beat these other teams who are 9-10 deep, and are younger and faster and more athletic. They just can't do it. So I don't know what you do with Steph because he still is incredible, but his team is. It's not. They're not good enough.